Hi, I'm Phillip at ToolPro. I'm going to show you how to unbox and assemble these 24 to 40 inch magnesium stilts, and this is going to go for all the stilts from 18 to 30 all the way up to 48 to 64. Okay, so in the box you're going to find a bunch of different pieces, and it's important to take note that you have all those pieces straight out of the box. Most importantly, you have the two lower sections of the stilt. These are going to come pre-assembled with toe and arch or heel brackets depending on who you talk to, spring assemblies, floor plate, soles, and a foot plate. In front of me here we have the lower strut tubes. Down here we have the upper strut tubes. Those are going to come with the calf supports pre-attached as well as the calf strap. Over here you're going to get two heel brackets with the hardware for both of them, as well as an owner's manual. So down here you're going to find the lower strut tube locking bracket. It's going to come kind of loose, so you're just going to stick your wrench on either side, get it loose, undo the nylock fastener on the other side, and just make sure you keep track of all this hardware because it's important that it goes back on. You're going to have a bolt as well as two washers and a nut. So up here at the top you're going to find the upper portion of the strut tube bracket. It's going to have two bolts, and you're just going to loosen these off, and they're going to come a little bit loose as well. You may need a wrench to pop them off. Once they're clear here, just get them loose enough that this bracket can actually open up. You don't need to pull them completely off. Alright, now you're going to take the upper strut tube itself and just slide it down through this operation. Now keep in mind this is a powder coated surface, so you're going to want to make sure that you don't kind of bang it up against this metal assembly too much, or you do risk scratching. So you're just going to drop it down inside the lower strut tube locking bracket, line the holes up, and pass it through. Replace the washer as well as the fastener. Hand thread it for now, and then we're going to move on and we'll tighten all this stuff at the end. This is the heel bracket that you're going to attach to the rear of the stilt. It's got 6 holes in it, and basically what this allows you to do is adjust the position of the heel bracket based on foot size. So if you have a smaller foot, you're going to fix it to the rearmost position, or possibly a bigger foot, you're going to fix it to the frontmost position. Place the nut up from the rear. There's a hex-shaped recess in the bottom of the foot plate, so you don't have to actually have a wrench on the bottom side of here. Get it started with your hand, take your screwdriver and just get it hand tight. Be careful not to cross thread it, and just get that other hole pretty lined up so you know where you're going. Come back and do the same thing. And once you get down to the bottom of these threads, it is going to bind up a little bit. These are nylock nuts, so they're made to never back off. So the screw's actually bedding into a piece of nylon, and that's going to keep them from backing off in the future. See, this is why you don't tighten everything until the very end. The upper strut tube itself is actually going to pass through this bracket again, so you want it to be nice and open. You're going to pass it over like so, through the bracket, and here's where you're going to want whoever's going to be using the stilts to come into play. If you're assembling them and you're using them, great. You're going to want to put your foot in here and get this cuff adjusted to the point where you need it personally. So that's going to be midway on the calf. So for me, that may be a little different than everybody else. So I'm just going to kind of get this where I think it would be on myself. Grab my wrench. Start tightening these. One thing that's really important to remember is to never over tighten on stilts. You want to get these snug and firm, but not so tight that you're actually warping the tube itself, because that can happen as this is a hollow extrusion. And just work back and forth, tightening progressively, because as you tighten this one, this back side fastener is also going to tighten. And just get them until they're both snug enough that this whole operation isn't going to come loose. When you set these stilts up for the first time, oftentimes this strut tube isn't going to sit right where your leg would. So you have this adjustment right here. It gives you quite a few degrees of motion, and this just moves back and forth. And there's a fastener here with 2 washers, and when you're ready and you have this exactly where it is comfortable for you, you tighten this fastener up, and this stays put. Alright, so now we're going to start tightening everything down, and there are just a few places you need to make sure you check here. Down here we're going to have the lower strut tube locking bracket. As you can see, it's bolted loose. We want to make sure it's tightened up. The actual strut tube bracket itself up here, there are two fasteners there you want to make sure are nice and snug. And then your lateral adjustment. Once everything is set with your cap strap, you're going to make sure this is tightened as well. So down at the bottom, you're going to find the two height adjustments. These are going to be wing bolts that pass straight through the stilt assembly itself. There's going to be one here at the front, then one here at the rear. To adjust the height, you're going to break these wing bolts loose. And once again, there's going to be hardware on these, so you just got to take extra care not to lose any of the stuff that's actually sitting on the seat here. Take the first one loose, turn the stilt around, take the rear one loose, and now we're ready to adjust the height of the stilt. Alright, so here's a neat trick on how to adjust stilts. You can take your arm, put it straight through the cap strap, and then just grab onto the foot plate itself. Raise your arm up, and get it in a nice relaxed or working position for you. If the sole of the stilt is against the ceiling, it's probably a good place to start. Now when you bring the stilt down, I'm not exactly lined up with one of the holes that are in the stilt itself. So I'm just going to go to the next space up, adjust out, take the wing bolt, drive it through, and screw it in. After all that's done, you should be ready to rock.